We are live.
Hey, welcome.
Hello.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Doc.
And good to see all of you that are here now, which is currently zero. And I love that because that's the Wuji, that's the empty space that we're going to embody right here together as we feel our sits bones relax onto the wherever we're sitting. If you feel like standing up, go ahead and stand up. Feel your feet ground on the earth. I'm going to breathe in silently into my nose as I feel my belly expand in all directions. As I breathe out of my mouth, feel the crown of my head extend up to the heavens. As I breathe into the nose again, I feel my sits bones relax, feel my perineum relax. Even feel like there's a weight tied to the perineum, pulling it down to the earth. So we breathe out of the mouth. Let's do that at least one more time, purging breath into the nose and out of the mouth. The question of the day is function. What functions have we stopped using? And the feeling of the day is emptiness. Okay, let's take a moment right here in this space we have. Ask ourselves if there's anything we need, anything that we're feeling like we would like to do. If there's any pain that we're feeling, anything like that. Open our mouth and breathe it out. How about you, my friend? Discernment. Is there anything that you're feeling in your body anywhere?
On Friday, I woke up with swollen glands. By Saturday, it was gone, but I still have some mucus.
Okay. Let's do some nice tapping. Let's take our hands here and with relaxed shoulders and relaxed elbows. This is our thymus gland right here. I'm just kind of tapping it, keeping my fingers relaxed like this. And at the same time, they are like darts. Say maybe 36 times here, something like that. And then just kind of brush and sweep this area here and pull it out of our shoulders. And down here too, from the neck down to the clavicle, pull that out. Now let's do into the eyes here. Get all this in the top of the nose. Just energetically scraping on the level of the chi, right above our skin. We're coming in contact with the skin, but the work is mostly above it. Now we can do the temples. Just rotate the middle fingers here. Resting the head down into the hands here and just letting the spine flex, fully relax. Breathing into the nose silently and out of the mouth. Here on the temples, we're going to make rotations here, and as we're doing it, we're going to breathe in kindness.
Kindness. Love.
And breathing out any frustrations. You can imagine a deep forest green color coming in. And a slimy toxic green going out. One more purging breath here on the gallbladder, number 1 point. We've got an animal kingdom having circle of life events, sounds like. Breathing in kindness for ourselves and others. And breathing out any anger.
Love it.
Now I'm going to flick out that energy there. Okay, now let's go from here and let's actually go zigzags up above the ears, all the way from the front of the head back down to the occipital ridge down here, the point sticking out here on the side of the occiput, the jugular protuberance, all the way down to there. Now let's come back down to where we're relaxing, flexing our spine, just letting our head relax. I've got my thumbs here on that bony protuberance there on the side of my occipital ridge. Feeling that there's a tendon there where it connects to a muscle that goes down my neck here. And as I'm making contact with my thumbs on that tendon, right at the point where the tendon connects to that bony protuberance, I'm breathing in kindness. Digging my thumbs in however I feel like it. Breathing out any anger. Feeling the function of this muscle and the vertebrae that are here. Right under this bony protuberance, I can feel the transverse processes of these vertebrae that go down my cervical spine. I can just go back and forth, kind of pushing them back and side to side. And they are moving just a bit. The muscles moving. That function is all being used and woken up there and contacted. Now I'm going to take my fingers in here. I'm going to go to that bony protuberance. I'm just going like this. I'm pulling any energy off. Just like that. Back again from the temples. Gallbladder 1 point. All the way zigzagging here along the meridian. This is how it goes. Zigzags up above the ear from the front of the head to the back, all the way back down here to that bony protuberance. That's another gallbladder point right there. And then it keeps going from here and goes down to the traps right here. This is a major gallbladder point that a lot of times is tight on us right here. So if we're feeling that tightness right there, it's probably because we're not doing enough head loading with the medicine ball or whatever else. Follow me for more info on that. But if we're feeling this tightness here, understand that it's a river of energy that starts right here at the temples. So we breathe in kindness into the nose, and we can go zigzag with our energetic claws, scraping, raking this whole meridian here all the way to that occipital ridge, bony point, down the muscles, down to here, and then we can let that out as we let our hair down too. Why not? Okay, so that's a little bit of meridian tracing there with our gallbladder meridian, the yang of our wood element. The original attribute is kindness. When we're stagnated in this meridian, we have the acquired emotion of frustration or anger. So we can notice that as we're feeling these sensations, what we call anger, frustration. Notice, do we have stagnated energy along this line that goes down the back and the side body, down the hips, down the IT band, side of the knees, and then out the fourth toes? A lot of times hip pain, here goes along with anger and frustration. So once again, we're going to come right in here to the temples. Just make nice rotations. You can do, if you really feel like you've got too much energy, like you're just in a fit of rage, you actually would want to do counterclockwise circles. And we're going to focus on purging. So we're going to breathe in kindness on a 4 count. And I'm going to breathe out anger on an 8 count. Counterclockwise. And then I'm going to go along the meridian here, zigzagging above the ears to the occipital ridge, down here, and now I'm going to go down my side body with my intention, go out my fourth toe.
I can't see. I'm blind.
Welcome, Kristen. We're just doing a bit more Qigong here.
No, this is awesome.
Welcome. So we're doing, that was gallbladder meridian. Now we're going to come to the stomach here. So earth element, we're going to feel the center of the eye here, the lower eyelid. This is where the energy comes from the sun, from the sky, yang energy of the earth element. It goes right down here. And a lot of times we see pronounced wrinkles on folks, and ourselves will see them right here. And that is the stagnation of energy that flows freely when we are babies, right? And when we're young. And then we start to worry and acquire the emotion of the earth element and the posture of stagnation in this meridian here. And we'll have the formation of deeper lines here. And that's the stomach meridian. Goes right down here, goes down both sides of the sort of the sternum here, and then on the sides of the belly button, and then it goes down the outside of the legs, down the outside of the knee, on the outside of the shin bone, and then it goes out the second toe. So we can just go right here, make nice little rotations right here where the meridian enters, relaxing our head, breathing in trust, breathing out any worries. Breathing in trust. Imagining a golden earth chi is raining down on us and dripping all down our heads and all over our bodies and dripping onto the earth. As we breathe in trust, breathe out any obsessions, anything we're worried about. Okay, and now let's continue on down here, right along our face here, just getting all in here. We're like ditch diggers. That's really what we're doing. We're just dredging these channels, understanding that you see me working on the body, on the physical body of the Jing. I'm also on the level of the Qi. Okay, there's energetic claws coming out of my fingers, going deep into all the levels. Breathing into the nose, breathing in trust. And breathing out any worries as I guide it out of my second toe. Back to the earth. Breathing in that trust. Okay, we're going to do one more element up here on the head, on our face, where it doesn't matter where you are, if you're sitting or standing, if you're at a desk, you're at work, whatever, you can do this right here anytime. What we're doing is we're using our fingertips and our energetic claws that come out when we breathe in silently into the nose, expanding all directions into the belly. And then we breathe out and we project these energetic claws. And we can use them to dredge any stagnated energy. So here we come to the point where the water element, the yang aspect of the water element, enters right here at the point where the nose and the eyes meet up here. You can kind of just dig in physically with your finger and feel where the point is that feels good and feels like it wants your finger to sink into it on both sides here. And as we breathe in, we're going to breathe in wisdom into the nose. And as we breathe out open mouth, we're going to breathe out any fear. We can make circles with our fingers if we want. And all the way out. Breathing in wisdom, imagining a deep indigo blue color maybe on the way in. Breathing out any fear. Okay, now as we about 3 breaths there, working on the urinary bladder number 1 point. That's where this right here is where the urinary bladder enters the body. And then it goes from here and it goes along 2 lines that go straight down the center of the skull here, basically. Right down the sides of the spine and down the back. Down the sits bones, down the hamstrings, and then it goes all the way out the pinky toes. So let's feel that again. Let's feel the energy entering right here. And then we can use our fingers and our hands to sweep and guide this energy right down the center of the skull, down the center of the back, spine, Continues all the way down the legs and then out the pinky toe. If we want, we can feel the energy coming from the earth as well. The kidney energy is coming into the center of the bottom of the feet. Feel that coming up into our sternum. As we breathe in wisdom, open mouth, breathe out any fear if we need to. If we have any tension. Let's do that just one more time. We're going to come back to the urinary bladder number 1 point right here. Make some circles, and then when we're ready, we're going to guide the energy along its path of least resistance, just as it wants to flow. Right down the back of the skull here, down the cervical spine, down the whole spine, down the sits bones, feeling my hamstrings, kicking my feet out here so I can let my hamstrings relax. Oh, yeah, and then all the way out my pinky toe. Oh, and I got a nice pop on both pinky toes. Now I'm coming in into the feet. Energy from Mother Earth. Okay, well, we're here in the center of the earth and the sky. Mm-hmm. Limitless potential here. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. 61 of you. Wonderful. Healing is free, remember, as long as we have discernment, and we have that today. And we also even have another guest that I would love to introduce, Kristen. And I'm going to just give you the floor, my friend. We would love to hear about your story. And I know that we met on social media, one of these sites. Maybe you remember exactly what happened there. I'm not exactly sure what prompted us connecting. I'm sure it was something you wrote. I was like, I know we're on the same vibes.
Oh, yeah.
So please, I'm going to give you the floor, and I'm actually going to put the thing so it'll be just your face for a bit while you're speaking, and maybe take 5-10 minutes and just kind of. I always tell people, tell me what I need to know. Just tell us what we need to know about you, and go back as far as you feel like going, and then discernment. Please feel free to jump in once she's done with that, and why don't you take over and ask a question or two, and then we'll go back and forth. All right?
Yep. Sounds good. And yeah, just we flow. We're free. Anything you want to talk about, we'll probably get there. But
Main
right
thing is I
now,
want to hear your story.
Yeah, let's hear your story.
I want to hear your story and what we need to know about it. And without further ado, Kristen, please tell us what we need to know. Starting out, like, what's your full name, or whatever you go by, and like, where do we find you and all that good stuff too?
Yeah, sure. So, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me come chat with you guys. I'm Kristen, of course. I write on my Substack blog. You can find me there, Moon Maiden Musings. And I recently kind of launched my own little heirloom seed and apothecary store. And I kind of got to that point, going the natural way and stuff like that after, spending over 15 years in allopathic healthcare. And, come 2020, I was already asking myself a lot of questions about whether that was still the right path for me. And then, like a lot of other people, the pandemic happened and really put me on a different path and kind of set that in stone. I started to see a lot of inconsistencies and things that just really weren't adding up. And I originally went into healthcare because, that whole cliche, like I want to help people thing. I had a sick mom growing up. I lost her when I was 26. She was not even 50 yet. She's 46 when she passed. So it's like she spent a lot of her life in and out of hospitals, getting treated terribly. And I was like that, I want to make a difference person. And so over time, you know, I've been to school, stuff like that. And I really felt like I just needed a change, right? So I ended up going back to school to get my bachelor's degree in like Ayurveda and wellness. And I actually got halfway through that. I don't even want to be in holistic healthcare because they have to go by like the same rules and regulations a lot of allopaths have to go through, you know, same licensing boards, all that stuff. It's a lot of the same hoops you have to jump through. And I really feel that, you know, wellness and health kind of comes from, you know, within, and, you know, being like an autodidact or teaching yourself. You don't have to go and spend thousands of dollars to go to school and have a fancy title to be in that position, or, you know what I mean? So I just really have gone off the rails there. And I was, you know, pretty active the last couple of years in the health freedom movement, and, you know, advocating and speaking out, and, you know, putting my 2 cents in where it fit. And even that, I've noticed that there's just a lot of really conflicting ideas that like there's no room for civil discourse half the time. Everyone just wants to argue. They just want to live in their echo chambers, things like that. So I've even kind of been taking a break for that. Like this is really the first podcast that I've done in several months, because I really am just focusing on homesteading and gardening and, you know, my apothecary store, and just kind of working on that. Like I homeschool my kids. I'm finishing up my next indoctrination piece of paper in June. Like I said, I completely changed.
What was that?
What was that?
What was the title?
Oh, you like that? My next indoctrination certificate. You know what I mean?
You know I like it.
It sucks because I feel that this time around, going back to school, I actually did learn some things that were useful. You know what I mean? And a lot of it focused on agriculture. And I didn't have to learn like a bunch of math or unnecessary English classes or things like that. Like I really got to focus on what I wanted to do as far as like connecting with the earth and stuff. And, you know, the Ayurveda tied into that. But again, I got halfway through school this time around and was like, I don't even want to be a wellness consultant. Like this is going to sound kind of catty or bitchy, but I don't even want to deal with people. You know what I mean? Like it's not that I want to like shove my advice or my medical opinion on them or whatever, but if they're not willing to look at things from a different scope or angle, a lot of what I have to say, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, it falls on deaf ears, and you just sound like a crazy person or, you know, a conspiracy theorist. So it's like, I can't put myself in a position to I guess argue with people about their health. So I'm really just kind of, you know, just going with the flow these days. Like I said, I'm trying to focus on what I have going on here at home a little bit more than that. And, you know, I still have these talks with awesome people like you guys here and there, but it's really becoming more about going inward and doing like my inner work. And, you know, I have to understand and realize, and I think a lot of it's in the, you know, health freedom movement. You're not going to reach everyone. You're not going to be able to have certain discussions or conversations with everyone. You know, a lot of people, again, like they're stuck in their confirmation bias or the echo chamber. And it took me realizing that even I was in that position a couple years ago, and having to really branch out and realize like, wow, a lot of what I learned was just either useless or lies, just garbage. You know what I mean? Like the Flexor report was pretty effective. So, and that's about it. Like, I don't want to sit and like talk about myself. You know what I mean? Like we can talk about anything you guys want to discuss, but that's just like my background and how I got here and why I do what I do these days, and kind of where I'm at with the whole thing.
Yeah, very nice. You know, going back to school in your, I guess I'll say mid-20s, it's tough, isn't it? But and you know what to focus on this time though. And I don't know, I'm sitting there doing geometry back and all these things, and you're like, nobody needs to know this. But it's worse than that, as you know. We're being indoctrinated, right? We're being told things fed things and we just receive them. When you get a little older, you might, you think about, gee, I should have asked more questions. It's really about articulating the right query to discern through, what may be right for you, what may be true or not for you. And obviously there's things that could be true for you, not for others, true for some of us, not for others, but whatever. It's about really, we don't think when we're in college and getting our degrees of indoctrination. I just think that's so funny.
Yeah, you're just expected to take everything at face value, or like the studies or peer review and things that are, being presented as true. You and I both know that a lot of times they don't even pan out. Half of them don't have controls. They have no repeatability. I had written in the last year about the number of retractions we're actually seeing just in 2020 alone. I tracked like over 1,300 the last I checked, and that was October of last year.
Did you do a Substack on that one?
I did, yeah. There's a couple of them. Like Wiley Hindawe was like one of the biggest ones that like it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and it actually ended up costing them a bunch of money, and of course the reputation, and we have to think about if it's just that publication alone, how many of them, if we were really to put them under scrutiny, would we end up finding out the same thing? So there's peer review rings and financial incentive, institutional incentive, and so while we're in school, a lot of those studies and things and peer reviewed and credible it's horseshit. It's not all it's cracked up to be, and then they just want you to accept those things, and be a good little indoctrination student. And when you ask questions, right? Like I was in a physics class in the last 6 months, and I think that I have to give that teacher a bit of a break, because I asked him some pretty hard-hitting questions, and he actually, I could tell he appreciated it, but it was a little frustrating because he is having to challenge what he thinks. And then a couple other students were kind of latching on to what I was saying and was like, well, if we've never seen that stuff, and we're kind of just it's our best guess, how do we even know that this is how the universe works? And they don't like when you ask those questions. And I think it's important for anybody who is going to school that you do ask questions, or if something doesn't add up, that it's okay to do that, especially if you're paying for it. You know what I mean? Absolutely not be afraid of that. And I think a lot of people get frustrated with students, and they're just kind of like, can you shut up so we can just be done with our Zoom meeting or our class? And it's like, sure. No, I'm going to challenge this stuff. And it was cool because last January, 2023, when I actually took the trip to Iowa to go do my in-person clinicals, my anatomy teacher was very keen on what I was talking about with like terrain theory and stuff. And I actually went and sat and had lunch with him and his wife. And I came to find out that he has been on that track for like the last 5 or 10 years, he said, like a long time. And they were already kind of in the mind that like, disease is not what we think it is. And so he, like I said, he was pretty keen on discussing it. And I was kind of like, wow, like, this is awesome. I'm kind of like teaching the teacher right now. And he was really receptive to it.
This is part of my theory of why COVID happened when it happened. People were starting to wake up. And then it was like, wait a minute, we got to pull the old trick again. Whoosh, I'm back here.
Close the curtain. Yeah.
Yep.
And rewrite history a little bit too, as we're seeing it in real time.
I'm loving the conversation. I did put a question here along here. So whenever you get to that question, this is because I heard people saying things like we're being indoctrinated and all this. And I had a great text back and forth with a person that I'm working with just yesterday, actually, if I may interject here, because this just came up. Okay, hold on. There's a bunch of texts. I tell people, text me all the time. Go ahead and text me because you can't bother me because it just comes to my laptop.
Be careful what you ask for.
No, I don't mind. It literally just goes to my laptop. This is all for a research project. But This person writes to me yesterday at 2:00. Damn, it's really fucked up. She's relating a story where basically a medical doctor blamed the patient for their errors. And what she writes here is the frequency with which they blame us for their errors and shitty drugs. It's insane. And then I wrote back to her, it's the same frequency with which we seek their opinions and accept them. It takes two to tango. So we are going to this insane paradigm. We're watching them kill our families in front of us. We're turning off our brains, turning off everything in our felt sense. Our communication with God and spirit is all telling us, get grandpa out of here now. And nobody's doing it. And then everybody's lining up like a cow going to the slaughter. I'm next. It's my benefits.
Yeah, I need a free donut.
I wanted a hamburger.
Sad. I hate to see it. But that's what we're here for at the CDC-FDA, the Center for Disease Consideration from Different Angles. It's all in the language. So we've got to be careful with our language too. We are not being indoctrinated. We are allowing ourselves to be indoctrinated. We are in on this just as much as everybody else.
Yeah, it's like when people say the system is broken. The system is not broken. The system is doing what it was designed and built to do.
Fixed. Exactly. Okay, right, but thank you. I just wanted to interject that because but go ahead. Yeah. Well, at what point is it like knowing all these things? I really like, and I put some banners up here of things you were saying earlier, Kristen. I don't know if you saw these, but I love what you were saying. You know, I'm focused on what I want to do. I'm connecting to the earth. Now,
why would you want to connect to the earth instead of civilization?
Yeah, well,
civilization's going to shit. I mean,
you don't really have uncivilized.
You don't really have civilized or people or civilization without that connection to earth or operating within natural law and stuff like that, whatever you want to call it. That connection is I believe super important for us as human beings. We are a part of that.
Right.
Very much so. And I think that just that alone, like not to go like the GNM path or anything like that, the Germanic New Medicine, not to go that path or anything, because there are things like I've pulled from that the couple things I agree with it, but I think that it largely writes off like you're not going to think your way out of being poisoned by your toxin environment. You know what I mean? But I do think it's important to understand that your frame of thought or the way you think about things, like just oxidative stress alone, like, what does that do to our body? So if you're constantly like in this fuck loop of thinking negative thoughts and things, and you don't have a connection to nature, and you're really just hyper focused on all of the negative things, like that itself is going to really bring you down and, potentially have an adverse effect on your health. And I think that we personally are responsible for our health, and that we shouldn't be outsourcing it out to the white coats, and at the same time, because people there's so much conflicting information out there. They don't have like a solid foundation or knowledge of like, okay, what should I be doing? If I have a headache, should I, go take a bunch of aspirin, or should I drink some feverfew tea? You know what I mean? Some people don't even know that a lot of those, medicine come from,
That's right.
It's a synthesized version of something natural.
Yeah.
And if they don't have that information, or, they're just really not into the nature stuff, a lot of people like knock it, you know what I mean? They think it's quackery. Again, the vaccine report did its job. So if they're having that kind of thought, they're going to have, essentially no choice. They have a choice, but they think they don't have a choice, but to go to a doctor and ask for their help. And This is where the doctors are, at fault or complicit, is because they essentially are again, they're stuck in that echo chamber. They're not trying to seek, not all doctors are like this, but, they're not trying to seek, existential modalities or alternatives or other things that they can be doing. It's kind of like, here's my PDR, my physician's desk reference. I'm going to have like this list of symptoms I'm going to look up and go, aha, that's what I need to give you or put you on or do for you. And that's not really healing. You know what I mean? At best, it's like masking symptoms. It's not addressing like holistically what's wrong with your body or your mind. You know what I mean? And so when people outsource their health to those folks, those doctors, they're at fault for outsourcing it. But at the same time, the doctors are complicit because they, like I said, I don't want to lump them all together because I know there are a few, still good doctors out there that are really trying to like make that difference and help people and heal naturally, but then they risk losing their license and their reputation. And, a lot of them have stake in their careers. So it's hard for them, but they are absolutely responsible for the information that they give parents. It's like when you get pulled over by a fucking cop or something and you're like, oh, well, I didn't know the law. Okay, well, that's your fault. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that it's not still illegal. It's like when a doctor's like, oh, I didn't know this was bad for somebody. Okay, well, that's still your fault. Like you should have done your due diligence. There's none of that. So
I have a question. So you're doing homesteading and you said you have a family?
Yeah.
You have some kids? Wow. I think that provides like just such an incredible place. It's just the most perfect venue to teach all the lessons that we ever want to teach, right? But especially about health.
Absolutely.
Maybe just talk about like your journey homesteading and kind of how it's any specifics of how you tie in health and natural healing and all that stuff into your lesson plans or whatever you do with your kids on the homestead.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's like my passion. I talk about that a lot.
Please. I love it.
So it got started. I've always had a passion or love for gardening. Like my stepmom growing up was very hands-on in the garden. She's always had like these amazing gardens. And I always thought it was really cool growing up. So I think that's kind of where I got started. And then I've kind of mixed like that allopath education with like the gardening, homesteading stuff and kind of come out on the other side with like the holistic things. So I've just put it all together, because I will say not all of, going to school for what I've learned has been a complete waste. Like anatomy and physiology is absolutely useful. I could name parts of the body most people can't. I know rudimentary how they work and stuff. So, that's awesome. It wasn't a complete waste, like learning immunology, probably not so much, but so we basically started with a garden, like a really basic garden. I expanded it. We got like a huge enclosure because we got like, a lot of critters. I live in the California desert. So there's like rabbits and gophers and squirrels all trying to steal all my shit. So we had to, make it safer, keep everything protected, predator proof, stuff like that. And then it just expanded from there. Like I have a lot of like, herbs that I forage, like my trees that were already here. I have black locust trees and like their flowers I use to make like jellies, or I've made like, extracts and tinctures with them and stuff. That's just what was already here. And then the stuff I grow, I've got a lot, like I said, a lot of herbs and things. Of course, I grow a lot of food. I like to know where my food comes from as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And we've added, chickens, ducks. We've got a couple goats. We have some meat rabbits. We've got New Zealand rabbits. My dough's ready to kindle on May 10th. And we got a little turkey. We're probably going to get him some buddies, though, because he's lonely.
What is his name, Tom?
We haven't named him yet because we don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet. I haven't sexed the turkey, so I don't know. It's just turkey, turk right now. That's the turkey's name. But it's really cool. Like my kids have, my youngest, who's going to be 6 this year, she is my little garden buddy. Like ever since she was about 2, she's been out there. Like, it was a little frustrating at first, watching her pull. Like she's watching me pull weeds And then I got to watch her pull my actual tomatoes and stuff out, thinking she's helping me pull weeds. But like having that patience with her and kind of guiding her and teaching her, you know, this is a flower. This is a vegetable. This is a weed. You can pull that, you know. Now she's just out there with me every day. She loves the animals. She's constantly helping me. Like she helped me pick the flowers and forage them today and stuff. So it's really cool. And she's developed a really nice relationship and passion for her animals. Like she just goes and hangs out in the chicken coop, and her rooster Snowy, she just goes and picks them up, and you know, they all flock to her. It's really cool. So
oh, you got a nice rooster?
Yeah, he's actually really friendly. He's kind of cool.
Yeah, we had to get rid of Rousey the rooster in my family. He was beating on the poor hens. He wasn't even doing a dance. He was just taking them and beating on them, and they were losing feathers and everything. So Rousey had to go.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. They go to freezer camp if they act up. I'm not shy. I don't shy away from it. I tell people I eat. The person I had got my rabbits from, one of my buddies, his wife, when we were talking about it, she said something that I actually say. So I'm going to repeat it because I thought it was funny that someone else said it. I'm sure a lot of people do, but they're like, she said she gets asked, you know, oh, do you eat your rabbits? Like you eat your pets? And she's like, no, I eat their babies. They're just like horrified, you know? So, but it is what it is.
That's a good one. That's funny.
Yeah. So, I mean, the goats, the ones that are going to be born that aren't female, I'm going to cull the males, you know what I mean? So I don't shy away from having those conversations. I know it's kind of gruesome or brutal to a lot of people, especially if they're like, you know, vegan and stuff like that. But nope. I think it's great that homesteading is becoming like, I guess, somewhat of a trend. You know what I mean? More people are kind of finding their way over to wanting to be self-sustaining and knowing where their food comes from. And, you know, it's nice knowing that my chickens, you know, get to hang out with my kid and have a good life before they go to freezer camp. So it's not like they're being treated like crap or, you know, housed in unsanitary and unlivable conditions. And yeah, so I think that that's going to be something more people are going to want to focus on here in the future. And, you know, it's also good for, you know, like regenerative self-sustaining practices. Like, I don't want to sound like a UN sycophant, but I mean that the people who are doing that are onto something, because it's like, if I can take like the waste from my animals and put that back in my garden, I'm saving money there. It's more natural. And, you know, like the garden waste, whatever I'm not composting, I can feed back to them. So, you know, it all kind of just ties together, and it's something that I'm really passionate about and I really enjoy doing. And, you know, that's how I got my little home business going, because I'll never go back to healthcare again. I don't have a desire to work in it or participate in that system. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, of course, Doc and I were trying to show people you need to be your own doctor. The body heals itself. It should be self-evident. It should be an axiom. But we're fighting a little bit. It's not fighting. We're saying what we're gonna say, and we don't need to argue. And the way we say things a lot of times weeds people out too. Yes, so I haven't given up yet, Kristen. I'm still trying to do it, and for those with ears to hear me, right? I'm still trying to take on clients and help them. Really just showing people how to heal themselves. And Doc does this similar thing. You don't have to see us or pay us forever. We're going to teach you something and you'll take it for the rest of your life. Like for example, every episode we do 10 or 15 minutes of Qigong. And I've been doing this for a few months now with Doc, and I'm loving it. It's so new to me. And whenever I do it, I feel great.
Good.
Sorry, I was listening. I have one of my littles in here trying to show me her bathing suit, and
that's all good. Take your time.
To go play in the water. But
can you just mention?
And I haven't given up either. Like, I think it's important to kind of highlight or talk about that, because I don't want to just be like screw everyone, you guys are on your own, you know. But like you said, it's for those that have ears to listen. I don't want to get caught up having these circular arguments with people who
exactly
are just really hell bent on not making those changes or doing that inner work or have that understandanding. You know, that I don't.
There's enough people that. Yeah, there's
Right.
enough people that are open to it, and there's
exactly.
There's plenty of responsibilities that we have. I mean, you with your kids. I mean, that right there. You know, if you just teach your kids right, you're doing a huge thing. You know, that's incredible.
You mentioned your business 2 minutes ago. Do you want to say anything else about that you're starting?
Sorry, I had myself muted. No, not really. I mean, it's like I said, it's mostly like a little apothecary store and heirloom seed company. I grow and harvest all my own seeds. I have those up for sale. I don't even have like my own website yet. You know what I mean? Like I just have everything on Etsy because it's the only thing I can't even have a site, and it does work. But eventually, I want to move everything over and have like my own site and stuff like that. But like if you go to my Substack, there's like a page for, you know, my store, like a tab. You can go there, you can see like a little bit of my story and pictures of my garden and stuff. And you know, I have like I said, I have like oil extracts. I make a wide variety of stuff. I have like a tooth powder I make, and I do like goat milk soaps with like little loose in them. It's just really eclectic little shop. And then in person, because I can't really ship or do any of this stuff, but I do a lot of canning and preserving. So like I'll do like vendor events and stuff, or you know, to friends and family, and go to the farmers market and stuff like that, and do like the sourdough bread. Something else I've got into. Sourdough is awesome. And just do like the canning and stuff. So
why is sourdough awesome? Because I agree, my wife's been doing it for like 4 or 5 months now. It's like the only bread we eat now.
He's like, can we have regular sandwich bread, not just sourdough bread? But it's great because it's literally just 2 ingredients. It's water and flour. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have a bunch of chemical.
It doesn't have thiamine mononitrate. I mean, don't you need that?
Yeah, I need glyphosate
and all the other stuff.
Well, a lot of people, I think there's like this misconception, right, about celiac disease. Like all of a sudden this just cropped up, like Europeans were flourishing on bread for how long, you know, and then all of a sudden everyone's a celiac. Well, no, it's because all of a sudden, you know, big ag started spraying all the crops with shit, and it's all just a bunch of, you know, garbage bread. And really, sourdough is, I don't even like measure mine or anything. Like I just eyeball it, and it's worked from the gate. Like it was actually easier for me to do once I stopped trying to like control it and measure it and stuff. And I kind of just, you know, added flour until my ancestors whispered to stop. Like, you know what I mean? So,
perfect.
That's awesome.
I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff with it too. I don't know what your wife does, but like outside of bread, we do like, you know, cookies and muffins and pretzels and all kinds of random shit that's
just French toast. But
oh, that sounds good. I haven't done just regular French toast yet. So, but yeah, that's about it for what I have going on here. I really try to focus mostly on the seeds. Like I'm super passionate about seed saving, and I go to like plant swaps. I've hosted swaps here. In 2022, April of 2022, I had like the first one, and we had a bunch of people from the community come out and just kind of get everyone together and do plant swaps. And it's kind of taken off since then. There's a couple other groups that have formed and branched out, and they're kind of doing their own swaps now. And I'm going to be traveling about an hour away on May 11th to another one, and kind of connecting with like the other side of the community. And seed saving's cool because, like, I mean, you grow one pumpkin and you get like so many seeds from it. You know what I mean? It's a little tedious and a bit of handwork, but it's really worth it. And it's self-sustaining. You know, I plant seed the next year and I get, you know, just one pumpkin off that vine keeps it going. So, yeah, I really enjoy doing it, and I enjoy creating stuff and try to start looking into like newer products. But I also don't want to overwhelm myself because we have so much going on here already that it's, you know, sometimes I got to weed stuff out and go, okay, this isn't working, or this is too much work. You know what I mean? So
Have you done any? Do you know what spagyrics are or is?
I don't think so. No, I don't think I'm familiar with that. Enlighten
Okay.
me.
I was just wondering. It's kind of doing seeds and plants by the sky clock, by what, by the stars and the luminaries and
Well, I
planets,
have heard of planting like according to the moon cycle.
stuff
Is
like. Do
it
you
is
do
it
any
like
of that
that?
stuff?
I might.
I figured.
I swear everywhere I'm like, oh, you're one of the new age weirdos. But I mean, a lot of the new age stuff that people like me get shit for has been a thing for,
Right.
I mean, hundreds or if not thousands of years. It's just
Right.
it's just kind of coming back around, and then people
Right.
put these weird.
We're
liberal
rediscovering things like that, and we're clueless. And guess what? 1,000, 2,000, whoever knows how many years ago, whether it was in Asia or other places, they knew stuff and they were doing things, and they were again away from civilization. They were close to nature, and guess what? We are part. We should be a part of nature, huh? You know, you might be happier, healthier, feel better, etc., etc. Deteriorate slower, all those things.
Yeah, it's like when you're one with nature and doing nature stuff. I mean, you're getting actual. We don't want to get into whether vitamins have been isolated and stuff. It's probably a whole nother conversation. But you're getting your actual healthy vitamin D, not your cholecalciferol.
Well, you're always free to diss on rat poison.
Oh my God, that whole conversation lately is crazy. Oh man.
But yeah, you can't bottle sunshine. It should be obvious. And there's things going on that aren't physical that we cannot repeat. It should be obvious to most people, but we're not told this. We're blocked from, they indoctrinate by us and block us from seeing these things. So I always love to ask people how they woke up and stuff, and you kind of went through that. But once you wake up, there's no going back, and you're only searching for more.
Absolutely. I think it's a never-ending quest in life. You're always learning. No one ever is going to know everything, no matter how. I think actually the more I've learned, the more I have realized how stupid I am. Yeah. I really. And
me too.
Again, there's no money to be made in telling people, the healthy or free ways they can control their health. Simply going outside, getting your hands in that soil and getting that sunshine, or like even, everyone thinks earthing or grounding is through your feet. Like that's through your hands too, absolutely. And like I said, there's no money to be made. There's no big pharma product to be pushed when you're just, getting your health source from nature. So.
Yeah. Like what I'm showing right here. This is something that I filmed just like an hour before we did this started this live stream. I was doing this out on my porch. This is some Tway Na here.
That looks amazing.
Right.
So good. I mean, it's so easy. And, you can try this with your kids. I mean, they'll love it. And how many kids do you have?
4.
You have 4.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Congrats. You just
amazing.
Went up another notch. Good job.
So yeah, kids love this stuff, and part of what we're doing here at CDC-FDA is we're creating a publishing company. Did you know that, Kristen?
I didn't. No, I actually haven't really. I've only caught. I think I caught your guys' very first stream or second. I'm not sure. One of the two, first or second one, and then I caught one other one. And I've really been off social media a lot lately, to be honest. So
Good for you.
I don't even know. Like when we started the show, I'm like trying to follow along and stuff because I don't know much about Gong, but I have been hearing a lot about it lately. And everyone that participates or does it like swears by it, like how amazing is. So I might have to do some digging and learning about that and kind of discover it myself.
Obviously we encourage that.
There's good resources on YouTube, and I mean stuff that I'm putting out. I'll help you one-on-one. I'd be happy to. And also there's already people that have put out everything that I'll ever put out, and I think it's like got to be one of those shadow banned things that there are, because it's like I see these people that have good stuff on YouTube, but they have no views. I'm like, okay. But then, like
YouTube sucks.
I mean, I was watching these. Sometimes I'm watching stuff on YouTube and I get really enlightened, and then other times it just drives me nuts. Like these guys that are physical therapists, and they're like, "Watch out! Don't do this! Watch out!" I'm just like, it's the last thing people like. If you have osteoporosis, if you have osteopenia, don't do this. Watch out! Just like, man, this right here, this woman, this person that I'm working on here, she's got scoliosis, she's in her 70s, she's like, she would be the type of person that people be like, you gotta watch out. No,
Does she have any mobility issues or anything that you're helping her with?
Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm just in this video here. This is just a video I shot that just shows like just 3 different things that you can do that, like, for anybody experiencing any symptom, unless they're like bleeding out, like this will help. If it's headaches, tummy aches, pain anywhere in the body, just doing these things will literally help, And
yeah, I agree with you how you're saying, like, unless you're bleeding out or something. That's something I actually talk about here and there, is that I don't completely write off allopathy is when it comes to severe trauma, right? I think we've actually come a long way in helping, like, you're not going to put turmeric in a compound fracture wound. You know what I mean? So I definitely think it has its place there. I think in my perfect world, like how I think health should be ran, a lot of people might disagree with this. It doesn't matter. But what I think is that it should be separate. We should have super holistic based natural modalities that are kept separate from, like, so like your primary care doctor should be practicing that kind of stuff, teaching about healing and doing this kind of, physical body work and things like that, instead of, getting out the notepad and tossing meds in someone's mouth. I think that kind of health should be what we experience from our, PCP. And then if you have trauma, like an emergency situation, then you go to like what would be the hospital or something. But people shouldn't be going to the hospital for, like, I mean,
the sniffles,
the stupidest shit. Yeah. Know what exactly. I mean? That's your body, healing itself.
Yeah.
Your state of disease is actually just your body, doing its job. It's not because you're catching colds or something like that. It's because your body's doing what it needs to do to detox itself and heal itself. And our bodies are so intelligent, and we've really been taught the opposite, that, there's this thing wrong and that's what's wrong. And, that's not how health works. And that's why we've got to the point that we've got, and we have all the alphabet agencies and the white coats telling us what to do. So we've really lost our way in that regard. And, it's not quackery. It's the truth. And it's being hidden from everybody for, profit, keeping people sick for profit.
And yeah, it's clearly not quackery. It was done for centuries and centuries. The things that, we're talking about, the ancient Chinese medicine that that Doc is sharing and spreading out there. We're just like rediscovering things, and we have to know. We're teaching our kids all this stuff, right? But how do we, get it out there even more? And so that's why we have some longer term goals with the CDC-FDA, and we're actually hoping to eventually start publishing and even possibly quote new textbooks. Textbooks that aren't just the same old crap. Again, just stuff from different angles.
That's what needs to happen is things need to be that's a large argument, right, between people is, well, what are we supposed to do? We're just supposed to throw out 100 years worth of yes, that is. And if that's what that means, like, why is it so daunting to people to do that kind of work? It's something that really needs to be considered. And it's hard when you have so much conflicting information to like, okay, what needs to go in said textbooks, or what should we be teaching? You know what I mean? So it's definitely got our work cut out for us as far as that kind of stuff goes. But I really think it would be amazing if that is the path that we go. Hopefully we see that in our lifetimes, but
well, we're making an effort. We're not just sitting around.
We'll make it happen together. Kristen, you're part of it already.
That's right.
So basically, kind of like you with your apothecary, we don't even have our like donation link set up yet or anything like that. We don't even have a way for people to pay us. But what you can do is go to CDC-FDA.com, and there's a form there you fill out. And we've had one person already at least has filled it out, and get a few other people out there. Let's get 103 are watching right now. If we get 1% of you to fill out that form right now, that would be very, very nice. And then we'll be in touch. And basically the idea is we're going to do a fundraiser at some point. And if we have a plan, if we have 1,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, once we hit 1,000 people, we're going to start doing a quarterly journal. And it's going to be like a nice journal that you can keep in your library. And it's going to have awesome, Qigong information in there and other stuff that will be great for, your homeschool, Kristen.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And you can write, maybe, you can write an article in there, for example, you know what I mean?
I'd be honored. We won't put it through peer review fraud processes.
Peer review.
We'll do it all in house, and it'll be based on, the type of stuff, the market is what's going to have to be the answer. It's the only answer. There's no, God is the answer, you know what I mean? But if we're, politics is not going to, I'm not going to rely on government or, the school system to figure out what's the right textbooks for us. No, I say we put out information, and we have 105 people right now that have been listening to this. And if you're vibing with us and you think that we need to put out this type of information as primary, make sure that people understand how they can heal for free from our most common symptoms, then you can join us, CDCFDA.com. And when we have our fundraiser at some point this year, we're either going to be, we'll see how many people we get to support it. And we're going to try to build to 10,000. We get 10,000 people. That's when we're going to put out textbooks. So that might take a while. We'll see. But
just keep building. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Thank you. So that's the basics. And, it's going to be a long process, but, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, right? So
absolutely.
So, what I wanted to show here with this little bit of work that I'm doing here with my hands is just so people can see that, guys, there's a lot of stuff that we can do. You don't even need anything. We don't need anything, except our hands and our presence and
positive emotions.
Yeah, positive emotions are, to be clear with our language, it's our original attributes, right? Emotions are an acquired state. That's when I got stagnating energy, or I'm overexcited. That's an acquired state. But our original attributes here that we're seeing, in this video, it's, wisdom and trust and kindness. This is just humans being human, and this is what we are, just being together in these ways that are so natural is healing, and it's free, and it feels good for the person that receives it and the person that gives it. You end up just you're meditating really. And you see me here, I'm in a nice deep squat most of the time and moving my body, right? So this is called Tway Na. It means push pull. And if anyone is interested in learning this, I will teach you for whatever you are willing to donate, or whatever. I just want you to learn how to do some of this stuff, and we'll connect on video, and I'll teach you some of these basics. If you have a partner, it'll really help. But folks, we're here at the CDC-FDA, the Center for Disease Consideration from Different Angles, and we're here with Kristen today, the Moon Maiden. It's Moon Maiden. What is your exact Twitter handle again?
My Twitter handle, it's at moonmaiden88.
Here it is, moonmaiden88.
Yep.
Okay, moonmaiden88. Thank you for being here with us today. We got a few more minutes. We can I don't know how much time you have, Kristen, but if you got minutes. Discernment, was there anything else that you wanted to ask her or discuss?
Yeah, but it's going back.
Just real quick, because there's a couple things that were said. One was that you said you didn't want to get into the thing about vitamins. I would love it if we could do that maybe another time when we bring you back and we don't have to get into your story as much because we've already got all that. So next time you come back, I want to talk about that. That's actually, I'm remembering now, I think that's one of the things that we first connected about, was that you were like on Twitter and you're just like, this is bogus. You're even saying like the immune system is
straight.
It's
that. Yeah, I am a straight shooter. I am not a bullshitter. I'm a straight shooter. And like you said, it weeds people out. But
you were taking no prisoners. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I got a lot of flack for that. But I also got a lot of people like, wow, this is eye-opening. You know what I mean?
It opened my eyes too.
That's what we're going for, because it opened my eyes too. I was so big on the supplements and the vitamins, and this is how we get away from big pharma.
Yeah,
it is the same wing on the shit bird. It really is.
I had no idea.
I
that
think
big pharma makes the vitamins and sells it to quote natural little companies, and they sell them as natural. I had no idea.
Well, just look at the manufacturing process for vitamin C or citric acid. It's owned by who? Pfizer. We can talk about that. That really has to be another show, because we could really talk about that for a while. But
we're gonna do it.
The isolation process alone for vitamins is as sketchy as it is for virology. And
it's
you mean they don't get vitamin C from oranges?
The only thing they've isolated is an abstract idea that only exists in their head, and it only exists in the head of the people who agree with that idea. That's it. There's nothing else that's actually been isolated. It's just a nonsense idea, just like so many of these ideas that we have that are not, they're not worth anything. They're worth less. They're worth less than nothing because they're harmful.
And it's like you said earlier, that learning process is a lifelong thing. So it's like, okay, I went from allopathy to wanting to do holistic stuff. And then along with that came wanting to take vitamins and not take any kind of pharmaceuticals. And then, oh my God, I learned that is also worthless. And, I'm just hurting. Like really, we have to rely on that innate intelligence of our body. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, where's your scientific method or your proof for this or that?
Well,
not everything can be ran through the scientific method. And then, the other one is correlation doesn't equal causation. Okay, cool. So I'm going to put a bowl of oranges, 10 oranges in front of 10 people. And I'm going to have this guy go eat one. He peels it, eats it, bam, falls dead on the ground. Okay, maybe he just had a heart attack or something, Okay, you go eat the orange. Oh, that guy eats it. Bam, falls dead on the ground.
That one was climate change.
Vaccinated? What just happened? Okay, cool. Third guy eats the orange, falls dead on the ground. Fourth guy, fifth guy. If you're the 8th, 9th, or 10th person in the room eating the bowl of oranges, are you gonna, you know what I mean? Like, there's a point where the scientific method can't be just the end all be all for everything, and that correlation might not equal causation in every scenario, but it's definitely gonna be like a segue to doing more work or research or trying to find out why things are working the way they are or occurring the way they are. And I think that is largely something that's been put out there to stop people from thinking critically. It's meant to hinder critical thinking at that point. So
exactly.
So one of the reasons that we're creating a publishing company is because there's a dearth of good information out there, like the good images and the good texts that come from the old canon of like Chinese medicine. Kristen, you got to know that these guys have done the science. It's actually there. Thousands of years ago, they had a whole process they did not mess around. There was no conflicts of interest like we have now. And it was not a revolving door with corporations. They had a process that anything that was new had to be passed down to the apprentice. And the apprentice had to try it, and it would have to work for everybody with no side effects all the way through their whole career. And then they pass it on to their apprentice. And they keep doing that until 100 years goes by and there's been no issues in that one practice. And then it can go into the central canon of these, this is an herb that we can use. But it still has an asterisk next to its name because it has to go for another 100 years with everybody using it and everybody giving feedback and that there's no side effects, et cetera, et cetera. And then it becomes part of the canon of Chinese medicine herbs and other practices. So the science is there, just a lot of the problem is that we were programmed through school, right? And to be ignorant. We are the least cultured, most brainwashed people potentially of all time.
Good work, everybody.
Yeah, right.
Might be the most brainwashed, least connected people to reality of all history.
Yeah, especially now. It sucks because it's like you would think that a generation that has so much technology at their fingertips, there you go, so much technology at their fingertips would use it for something good or useful. And instead we have, young girls making TikTok videos instead of trying to use it to like learn how to create something of value, and
have a family.
It's really sad because I was like that kid that wanted to learn. I'd be riding my bike to the library to go get encyclopedias and stuff like that. Like if I had the internet when I was younger, of course I had the internet, but like it was like dial up and we had one computer and my mom kicking me off if someone called on the house phone. It was not the level of accessibility we have now. And I think it's like really ruining younger generations. But at the same time, like my oldest is going to be 17 and he's got a couple homeschool friends, and they really are starting to get it. You know what I mean? They're trying to go back to like their roots and like they're thinking about the young women that they want in their lives and the values that they have instead of like, kids a little bit older, like I'd say the ages of like 25 are just like super like just barfly techno, like I don't know how to explain it, but like you really see this cultural difference, and like fortunately a lot of the younger kids, I guess they're subjected to it, but they're also having parents that are like us that are like, I'm trying to move my kids away from this system and like be the cycle breaker, more cliche words, but it's really true. And I think that that's really helpful for our youth because they are the future. And if we don't start teaching them those things now and like showing them like, okay, well, you have social media, you have this, you have that, but the internet is so much more vastness for info. Granted, if it's decent info, obviously.
Exactly.
To filter through. And, it sucks because now we have stuff like the AI chatbot things. And it's like the biggest gaslight on humanity. Like you'll go look something up that you already know about and it's giving you the wrong answer. And then like you call it out and you're like, hang on, that's not. And it's like, oh, my mistake. I mean, I've even got the thing to give me, because I like to play with it and see like how bad it's screwed up. Right. And I've even got it to give me like fake completely manufactured studies. And I'm like, oh, well, that study doesn't exist. And it's like, oh, my mistake. Yeah, it's better to consult
How
with
about this one?
What?
Wow.
And someone who's not really hip to that kind of madness is gonna see it and take it at face value and be like, wow, look what I just discovered because this thing just told me that. And it's like, oh God, no. Like, oh hi, you want pets?
Hey, Woofy.
My dog wants to say hi. But
we love dogs. Oh well, hi.
She's such a lover. You gotta go, Luna. You gotta go. You gotta go.
Aww.
Judy.
You're so cute. Okay, go. Go with
Yeah.
Dad. Go with Dad. Oh, she just knocked my computer plug out of the wall. But what? You love her. Go. Go, Luna. Go with Dad. Anyways, but I lost my train of thought. But yeah, technology is it's a double-edged sword. Definitely.
Right.
Well, let's use it for the best that we can, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right now, putting out a little bit of light, a little bit of truth, and here we have another little video here. You see how easy this is, right? It does not look complicated, does it, Kristen? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry.
It's
I
okay.
said no.
Pretty straightforward. Just rocking back and forth, right on the sacrum, spine. This is more like it, folks. This is what a real doctor does, and we're going to create a publishing company, CDC-FDA, so we can put it in print and help people to see the reality that is actually right in front of their eyes and at their fingertips all the time. But it does help to have things spelled out from time to time, and to have dots connected for us, and to have ourselves armed with good information. And that's what we're about here, the CDC-FDA, the Center for Disease Consideration from Different Angles. We're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes. We've been with Kristen today, Moon Maiden number what, 88?
It's infinity.
88. There she is. So you can check her out on the X. I don't want to dead name it.
Yeah, and from there they can find your Substack can be found.
Yep, the Substack is Moon Maiden Musings, and then again you can find like the apothecary store and the seed store in the store tab on my blog. So
beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm on Telegram too. I usually hang out there more than anywhere else. I have a lot more freedom to discuss things that shall not be named on Telegram.
Vacations?
Same name.
Everybody likes to go on vacation. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, folks, you're checking out a little bit here of what I do on Friday mornings. This is a medicine ball protocol I've been working through, using a medicine ball with the gravity assist to open up the joints. Does an incredible job strengthening the neck and everything. So if you're interested in that, go to healingisfree.com, fill out the form there, get in touch with me. I'll teach you Qi Gong, Tui Na, and this awesome protocol right here.
Did you make that up?
I mean, I nobody else did that I know.
You invented the medicine ball, Qigong?
Well, I guess. I mean, yeah. But
he's so modest. It's like, yeah, I guess. Like, own that if you made that up. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, who am I? I mean, it comes from, wherever it comes from. And it's like, these things happen simultaneously all over the planet at the same time. So there's probably like 10 other people at least that are doing the same, almost.
Sure.
Yeah, but then
you're
like
tapped in. You're in touch.
Then 10 other people might discover or learn about it. Like, that's cool.
Thank you. Well, it's freaking awesome. I have grown almost an inch.
Oh, wow.
I mainly put this thing on top of my head. I mainly just walk around the neighborhood with it. I literally walk my dogs with the medicine ball on top of my head now. I've gotten
you up to 5'7" now?
No, I'm taller than that. I was 5'7". Now I'm 5'8".
No way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started doing the medicine ball thing, and I love it. It's only been 2 weeks. But at the very least, just walking around with it on you. But there's just so much you can do with it, and Friday mornings.
Yeah. So Friday mornings, 8 a.m. Pacific time. If anybody wants to join that, it's like a group class. So you got to go to healingisfree.com, fill out the form, and I'll get you into there. But it is live streamed. And other than that, my main goal with Healing is Free is to just teach people a daily Qigong practice. So the idea is it's something you can do every day and also just change your mindset so that you have things you can go to at any time if you're feeling anxiety or frustration or pain in the body. I'll teach you a Qigong practice so you're able to deal with these things and self-regulate without having to go to a doctor, without having to go to outside help. Learning how to find the inner doctor is what this is about. And like Kristen said earlier, you still might decide to call 911 if you have a car accident or something like that. I'm not going to be your emergency medical care provider. However, I've got lots of people that text me and say, hey, what's going on with this? And I'll text them back, let them know my 2 cents, tell them to take it with a grain of salt. And I've got tons of examples of symptoms that people would go to the medical doctors for, and they would just go through the ringer. But I give them 2 cents, and that turns out to be plenty. And mindset and understanding is really a huge factor. So also, you're seeing right here what I do with the medicine balls. I've got one on top of my head. This is forcing my crown to extend up to the heavens. My whole core is engaged. I have to have perfect posture when that medicine ball is on top of the crown of my head. That's 20 pounds. And then the other ball, I call this medicine ball ballet. The other ball, I'm guiding around my standing leg.
Awesome.
My standing leg is really working here.
I tried that. I could not. It was very difficult. But
work your way up
to anything, you got to keep working at it.
Yeah, work your way up to it. And but I mean everything in my standing leg here, my meniscus of my knee, my ankle, my hip, my labrum, everything.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I have to have perfect posture the entire time. Not only perfect posture, but posture that is expanding actively and getting better than perfect for me, because I'm pushing the ball up. Here I'm doing the third eye. So now I have cervical spine in a new, different position. This is what I call, it's like being a baby looking up to mama with full faith before we have any shame. Push that ball, third eye, up to the sun.
Complete trust.
Boom, right there. Strengthening it. This is the opposite of sitting. This is the opposite of aging. Our faces are collapsing into themselves over time because we're not challenging our head. We're not loading our head, which is one of the most fundamental evolutionary things that we've done for a long time. So, friends, if you'd like to work with me Friday mornings and join in on this group class medicine ball protocol that I'm developing. Yes, I am apparently the only one in the world that's developing this. If anybody else is doing it, please reach out to me and
awesome.
Let's work together. But yeah, I like to take Qigong and yoga along with this medicine ball and gravity to sort of take things to another next level. And you might almost fall down sometimes, but you just get back up if you fall down. And so yeah, go to healingisfree.com and you can join in on that class, learn Qigong. You can learn Tui Na, the stuff you saw me doing earlier with a client of mine. And that's a great practice that you can work with people and help them to find pain relief from almost anything. So with that being said, thank you so much, Moon Maiden 88, Kristen, for being here today.
Thank you.
All the way from California.
You guys. I can't wait to have more talks. And
yeah, let's do it. We're gonna have you back at least to talk about vitamins and all that. And I just want to talk about the idea of like how abstractions become real to people. You know what I mean? And
right.
So love to talk about all that. And please, what is the best way for people to follow you and connect with you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter. My handle's right there at MoonMaiden88. Again, you can find me on Telegram, and subscribe to my blog. You don't have to pay or anything if you feel inclined to. That's awesome. But my blog is where most of my brain dribble goes and stuff like that. So you can follow me on Twitter. You can find me on the blog, Moon Maiden Musings, or you can go to Moon Maiden Musings on Telegram. So that's the best ways to find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Discernment, was there anything that you wanted to add, my brother?
Just a thank you and love and light to everybody. Kristen, you're awesome. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. You as well. You guys are great.
We're going to have you back again soon, my friend.
Take it easy.
All right, be well.
Love and light.
Much love.